Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome back to the Brave in Action weekly live show. I am Heather Vickery. If you're new here, it's so nice to meet you. I'm a success and leadership coach. And my friend, brave is my business. Because when you choose bravely on purpose, with thought and intention, you begin to choose bigger, win bigger, and it's contagious. So I am here to help you build a life and a business that you absolutely fucking love. That's what I do. I do that by coaching. I do it with my books, my Create Brave manifestation cards, both of my podcasts, the Brave Files, and also Was It Chance? And I just try to do it in general out in the universe. So I am glad that you're here. I am here every single Wednesday, except for the holidays, or maybe if I'm on vacation, but most Wednesdays at 1:30 p.m. Central to drop just a little bit of knowledge of how you can be brave in action right now in your life in every possible way. If you're here, say hi because I love, 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 love engaging and talking to the people who are in the room. And today I am here to chat with you about getting into action. So I'm not going to throw the new year. It's not a new year, new you. We don't do that. It's new year, same you, any version of you that you want it to be, any version of you that you want. I want you to build the life and the business that you want, that you love, that brings you joy. And if that means you're doing the same thing or you're trying new things, that's awesome. What I know for sure is that if we stay right where we are, we never grow into anything else. And so I want you to get into action, whatever that looks like for you. And it's interesting because I picked this topic months ago for today. And just in the last 2 days, I have had several conversations about what that means and what that actually looks like. How do we, in fact, build a life and a business that we love on our own terms? How do we get into action? And the very first thing is we want to start thinking big picture. But then we want to break it down and break it down and break it down and break it down into small, intentional, actionable steps. And I ask you to think about this question. What's the worst that could happen? If you decided to dream bigger than you've ever imagined in your whole life, and you start to plan and create and manifest that vision into reality, what's the worst thing that could happen? And what's the best thing that could happen? Is it worth the risk? So let me give you a pie in the sky personal example. Okay. I'm a very intuitive person. My solar plexus is an indicator of a go sign. Back of my neck is an indicator of a stop sign. I really connect universally with that kind of thing. And I have been having what I call sort of downloads, visions, things popping in. And some of you have heard this before and some of you haven't. So it's super pie in the sky of winning an Emmy. Now, that feels crazy because I'm not on TV. I'm not an actor. I don't have a show, right? How in the world? But it's there and it keeps showing up for me. I find myself dreaming about it. I find myself daydreaming about it. So what could that mean for me? This big, crazy, unrealistic goal and dream. Well, how do I manifest that and create it? I start to think, gosh, what kinds of things might get me closer to that sort of goal that the universe has told me? I have it, whether I want it or not. This is your goal. This is a thing you're working towards. And so then I start to think, well, maybe I need to have more conversations. I need to connect with more people. I need to connect with more people in certain industries. I need to get myself published in more journals or maybe quoted. Maybe I'm invited onto a news show or a conversation show, things like that. But I can't do that if I'm not showing up in those spaces, if I'm not networking, if I'm not talking to people. Now, I realize this is like way out there. And you might be talking about launching a new business or a new product, deciding to close a business or start a new one. I was on a call with a client earlier today, and she has a goal of buying a house. It's not you, Barbie, but she lives in Seattle. I see that Barbie's here. She's like, a house is really expensive, but we want to have a down payment for a house, my partner and I need to save, $100,000. And I think, I don't know, maybe we should be able to save that kind of money in the next 2.5 years. Okay, fine, great. So if we just say, I'm going to save $100,000 in the next 2.5 years, how are we going to create that? How are we going to do that? Is that even viable? Is it possible? I said, what if instead of in the next 2.5 years, I'm going to save $100,000, you said, okay, here's how much I want to save. Here's the date that I want to save it, which means in the next 2.5 years, and we picked a date like June 5th, 2024, I'm going to buy a house. Okay. What's the worst thing that could happen? What's the best thing that could happen? How do I make that a reality? How can I create that for myself? Well, if you're going to do that, you need to save X amount of money per year, X amount of money per month. How are we going to do that? Do you have the income for it? So you've got to look at all of the different parts. Is there enough money to just simply siphon that savings away per month? Is there not? Do we have to cut back on something? Do you have to add something, a little bit more work here or pull back here? Not eat out as much. Maybe you don't get that pedicure once a month. Maybe you do. Maybe you discover you can save twice that amount a month and you could get your house much sooner than you thought. You don't know unless you get in and you really inspect it and you look at that goal and you go, what are all those steps? What are every step to it? And you're thoughtful and you're intentional and you utilize the BRAVE method: boundaries, reassessment, reframing, resilience, action and accountability, vulnerability, expand and empower. You use the BRAVE method to assess and reassess what's working, what's not. Is this still the goal that I want? Am I on track for that goal? What do I need to shift or change? How do I approach this differently to make what I want happen? Right? How can you do that in a way that is doable and achievable? So nothing works unless you do. But if you're finding a lot of resistance, the biggest tip I can give you, the best thing you can do is break it down even further. If it still feels overwhelming or not doable, make it smaller. Make it smaller, do that one little small thing, and then see what's next. Then utilize those 3 R's. Reassess. Okay, I did this thing. What's the next thing? Does that feel doable? Yes. Okay, I'll do it. No, it doesn't. Break that thing down, right? Because success is a series of little bitty, tiny, intentional actions building up over time to get you where you want to go. And you know what else is? The opposite of success, which isn't failure, because failures are necessary for success. They're learning opportunities. What would we call the opposite of success? I don't know. You guys have any ideas? Is there a real title for that? Lack of success? Stagnancy? Being stuck? Right? The opposite of success. If you don't want to thrive, the same things. Intentional compound actions, positive or negative, will lead to a result. Is it a result that you want, or is it a result that you don't want? The choice is very, very much up to you. We see this, and I'm all about enjoying what we want in life. I don't work out. I think anybody who knows me knows that I don't work out. And I want to eat whatever the fuck I want to eat, really. But I also know that if I eat nothing but chocolate all day, in the matter of a few weeks, I'm not going to feel good. I'm going to feel sluggish. I'm going to feel tired. So instead of eating chocolate all day, maybe I only eat chocolate once a day, which I for sure do. I for sure have chocolate every day. But compound effect, right? Everything builds up, negative or positive. Be in the space where you can imagine yourself actualizing your dreams and your goals, right? One thing we know for sure, because quantum physics has proven that it's true, is we only have right now. Right now is the only time that exists. The past doesn't exist anymore. The future doesn't exist yet. And when you get to the future, it will be now. Right? Think about that for a minute. When you get to the future, it will be right now. So you can decide right now, even if it's not true, and even if you don't know the path, even if you're not sure how you're going to get there, to say, declare, put your line in the sand. I am successful. I am whatever it is that you want to be. I literally chant in my affirmations twice a day, I am an Emmy Award winner. I have no idea how I'm going to do that. But I know that by chanting it and taking that space and creating it, I am creating my future, and the how will present itself. What is the worst thing that could happen? For me, literally nothing. Nothing. If nothing happened, that's the worst thing that could happen. And is it so bad? I don't know. Barbie says lack of success is learning. Well, I don't know. Learning to me is a success. If we try something, if we take action on something and we learn from it, we've won. We haven't lost. I'm going to play with this. I think it's stagnancy. I think it's being stuck. The opposite of success is being stuck, of feeling no growth, of feeling like you have no control over anything that's happening, where you feel lost and chaotic. That's the opposite of success. Yes, I think lack of success is stagnancy. I agree. I don't know who said that, but I really feel that that's probably the answer there. And stagnancy is not a word, like stillness is a word I love. So much of my success comes from choosing moments of stillness and reflection, quiet, thoughtfulness. I'm really a big fan of stillness, but stagnancy is icky. I am not interested in that. I do not want to be stuck, right? I don't want to be in this space constantly. I want to be in this space. I want to move. I want to go. Yes. Barbie says lack of success, the need to reframe. Just because the outcome wasn't what you wanted doesn't mean there aren't hidden gems. There are always hidden gems, but that's why I don't think it's a lack. I think it is the definition of success. Failure is required in order to be successful. Learning lessons are required for being successful. I got my COVID booster yesterday, my brain fog. Yeah, so lack of success. Oh, it's nuanced, Barbie. If we're defining, so lack of success is different than the opposite of success. Lack may simply be you just haven't achieved the things you want to achieve yet, and you're still on that success trajectory. The opposite of success is doing nothing. It's being still, it's being stagnant, right? There's no such thing as failure. We're always learning. What can you do right now? What are your goals? I want you, if you want to type it out, if you want to message it here, you want to jot it down, whatever it is that you want to do, let's identify right now one big major goal, vision, dream. It can be something you want to achieve soon or something you want to achieve far, far in the future. You're not fucking sure how you're going to get there, but you know that you want it. How do you create it and make it so right now? Right? How do we do that? So what would be the action steps? What are some things that you can do that you know will get you closer? What is the worst thing that you can happen if you take that action? If you put yourself in that space, if you do mantras and affirmations that say, I am this. One of the ways that I say what's the worst thing that could happen for all of the goals and dreams that I have for myself is instead of saying I want this or I will have this, I definitely always say I have this. I have this now. I create that energy for myself right now, right? So I want you to break it down. And then what's the very first thing you can do to get started and get into that space and move towards it? What's the next step? Making sure you're utilizing the BRAVE method where you stop, you clarify, you set those boundaries that you need, you reassess, you reframe, you get up, you do it again. You're honest, you're truth, you're vulnerable. That will lead to the expansion and the empowerment. That's the end, BRAVE. The E is expand and empower. That only happens for you when you show up for yourself and when you do the other components of the BRAVE method. All right, what else do we have here? Speaking on stages despite being shy and introverted. Yes, believe it or not, I know so many professional speakers who are super shy and introverted in real life. You can put on a persona for that. You can create that. If you know that what you're going on stage to share can change even one audience member's life, talk just to that person. Lean into that. How do we create that? What kind of spaces do you need to be in? What kind of conversations? What kind of work do you need to be doing to open up those doors so you can do more of that? Another friend says, I want to have at least one book box in every state by the end of 2022. I know who that friend is. That's Intentionally Brave Entrepreneur member Annie Ford Moore, who has the incredible Lovable Learners book box. It's a book and a craft for kids of all ages. They're so cool. So Annie, if you want to have that, first, I would like to hear you say, I have a book box sold in every single state in the United States. So where would I start if it were me? I would list all the states out. And then I would say, which states already have book boxes? Okay, what are the states that are left? Then you can start to target audience, those members, those people that are in those different states. Hey, Minnesota, what's happening? Do your kids love to read? Do they love to craft? Let's look at my book boxes, right? Like, make it intentional, create it that way. You can do that with absolutely anything. Talking to a client earlier today about accountability. And she said she was great at accountability at work, but not great at accountability at home. And her partner also wasn't great about accountability at home. And it gets really tricky. And I said, what if, and actually she said, well, I could ask him to, hold me more accountable. I could say, hey, if you see me falling off, say something. And I'm like, hold on. We talk about what's the worst thing that could happen. Do not just give anybody in your life carte blanche to call you on shit or to hold you firm accountable. Set some boundaries. What are the expectations? I said, what if instead you decided to have a 30-minute weekly accountability meeting as a family that says, these are the things I'm working on this week. What are the things you're working on? How can I help you be successful? How can you help me be successful? And be really clear about laying out that path, right? So that everybody knows what the rules are. And what's the next action? And then the next one. Break it down, small, thoughtful, intentional steps. Barbie says, I want to create other streams of income besides photography. So the very first thing to do is say, I have multiple streams of income. I have multiple streams of income. And then to list out, what are they? They could be so many different things, Barbie. The question is, what do you want them to be? So maybe start by sort of bullet pointing, word vomiting all of the different options, and then narrow, well, I don't really like this. I do like this. This would cost too much time. This would take too much money. These are the ones. And now I want to create these income streams, right? What are your interests? Yes, Facebook user says, what is your interest? What are your skills? Barbie is super skilled, by the way. So many talents in that one. All right, and list them out and then start to make a plan. Selling art, NFT, those are the two beginners. Yes, and I think I knew that about you, so I love that, right? And so how are you continuing to show up? I'm actually curious because I know January for you, Barbie, was a month of learning about NFTs. And is it something you want to spend your time on? What's the worst thing that could happen? We talked about this actually. If you spend January learning about it and you decide it sucks, it's too much work or it's too confusing or I'm not interested, right? Then you can go, fuck it, I'm not going to do that. Or you can see a clear path and you go, okay, these are the things I want to do. And I want to move towards that. Yes, I love it. I like the steps, Heather. I have no idea why my name does not show up. I don't know why either. You got to give, I think that's Annie, right? You got to give StreamYard permission. You've been listening, Barbie's been listening to Twitter Spaces. The vocab is so confusing, but I'm learning and making friends and it's still really scary. Okay, first, Barbie, teach me about Twitter Spaces because I haven't done it. I think it's like Clubhouse. That's what I've heard. But also, I learned a new platform already in the last few months. I learned, learning TikTok, sort of, kind of. Coming out with me on TikTok. I'm Brave Heather on TikTok. Please, I need more friends on TikTok, more people that care about me. And we can share content with. But I want to learn more. Oh, hi, Kimberly. How are you? I don't know why your name's not showing up either, but I'm so happy to see you here. Welcome. Kimberly, what are you working on? What do you want to create? What do you want to create? What's the worst thing that can happen if you decide to dream outrageously big about massive things and go, there's no way. I read a bio for somebody. Her name is Amanda Francis. She's a money coach, money manifester. And her bio says, achiever of unrealistic dreams. I was like, hell yes, I am adding that to my bio. Achiever of unrealistic dreams. Don't limit yourself. Don't be the one that limits yourself. What is the worst thing that could happen? Put it out there. Believe in yourself and just start. You're not going to know it all. You're not going to have all the answers. Surrender the how and imagine and dream and build on the thing that you want to create. Don't worry about the how. The how will show up for you when you've identified what you want and you just take that first initial step and then that second step and you get into space. The how will unveil itself to you. That sounds like all woo-woo-y, but it's actually the truth, right? We can't know where we're going unless we get in there and we start digging around and we go, oh, I'm going to go this way. Every conversation opens a door and leads to an opportunity. Every action leads to a reaction. Small, consistent showing up. I know for Barbie, it was I'm going to set a certain amount of time aside every day for the entire month of January to learn about NFTs. So in that, not only is she learning, and if you said you don't know the language, I don't know if you've done this or not, but I would highly recommend that every time there's a vocab word related to NFTs that you don't know, write it down on a list and then go back and search it and create a little bit of a vocab list for yourself so that you get up on the lingo, so you know what the fuck people are talking about and so that you can be part of those conversations, right? Kick it old school. Make a vocab list. Do that, right? It's not woo-woo. It's science. It's true. Every door leads to another one. Everything we do leads to something else. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. Get in and do the thing. What is the worst thing? Oh, Kimberly, I can see you now. Hello. Get in and just start mucking around. If it's spending a few minutes a day, learning something, trying something, being in a space, do that. Do that just for a little bit of time. Every day. Be consistent. I do this weekly live show. I have been doing this weekly live show for a full year. It's grown. In the last 3 months, we've started actually promoting it more regularly, which we weren't doing before, right? But I keep doing it. I keep showing up. It's there. I'm building that muscle. It's something that I believe you all get a lot out of. I get a lot out of the engagement with you. It allows me to get to know all of you better. Practice being on video, which those of you who've been around for a while know I don't like. Here's a what's the worst thing that could happen personal example. I don't like video. I wanted to learn more about TikTok. I don't know anything about the platform. Scares the hell out of me. I committed to doing what I called the My Brave Today challenge in the month of December. Every day for 31 days, I did a video on TikTok, which forced me to learn it a little bit, or at least put myself out there, sharing one thing I did that day that felt brave to me. There were some really big things. Some of them might have seemed so insignificant. Like the bravest thing I did was pause, decompress, lay around and do nothing. All of those things count. One of the bravest things I did was go down the ADHD rabbit hole and learn all about ADHD so that I could support my ADHD kid. Also, I discovered, I think that I probably have ADHD, at least on some level, and how to best support myself, right? You can go, if you go to TikTok and find me, Brave Heather, you can watch all of my videos. I did forget to label some of them because it wasn't about perfection. It was about process. It was about process. And that's what I mean when I say, what's the worst thing that could happen? This is about getting started. It's about putting yourself out there, even though you don't know the how, even though you're not completely sure what the outcome is going to be. You want this goal. You're going to start working towards it. Let that be okay. It is not about perfection. It is about process. Get in and do the thing and trust yourself. This has been so much fun. If you guys have more questions about it, you can comment here. The fastest way though, because I have to tell you, one of the other things that I learned over the last 2 weeks is that I really, really, really don't want to be on Facebook very much, but I am on the DMs. So you can DM me in Facebook Messenger, on Instagram or Twitter. I'm Vickery & Co. on Instagram and Twitter, or we can be friends on TikTok, Brave Heather. You can DM me there. You can email me, heather@vickeryandco.com. reach out. I want to get to know you better. I want to connect with you. I will love to continue to support you on this, help you grow. My word of the year for 2022 is create. And one of the ways that I want to create is I want to create more connection with you, more growth, more engagement, more excitement, more support. Both ways, you and me and you, baby. Let's do it. So reach out. If you don't know this, or if you haven't listened, I have 2 podcasts. One of them is called The Brave Files. The other one is called Was It Chance? On The Brave Files, I interview people who have stepped out of fear and into bravery in literally every possible way. Next week, we release our 200th episode, which is insane. So many episodes to choose from. My new show is Was It Chance? Was It Chance is the podcast about embracing chance and manifesting, intentionally creating and manifesting the life that you want. It's so much fun. We laugh ourselves silly, but also the topic is fantastic. We have, I think, 5 episodes out, more coming. We have another one coming out this week. All the good stuff. It's so exciting. Go and listen anywhere you enjoy podcasts. And if you want to get a copy of my book, Fuck Fearless, either of my gratitude journals or my Create Brave Manifestation card decks, which are there are 1,000 of them in my basement right now. We're shipping out all of our Kickstarter cards tomorrow. If you would like to get a deck, you can do that. Visit vickeryandco.com to find out all the ways you can do that and all the ways you can connect. I'm Heather Vickery. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. This is me reminding you to go out today and every single day and choose bravely, my friend. You deserve it. Bye.